guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute since I have made a video. I think it's been maybe 2 months, if not more. I can't remember. But I am very excited to see how many subscribers I've been getting. My inventory video seems to really be taking off, my inventory spreadsheet video. So I really appreciate any of you who have clicked on that video and who have subscribed. Welcome to the Shire. I am very glad to have you here and I hope you stick around. So just the way the year's been going, that's why I haven't been posting videos like I was hoping to. I kind of knew this would probably happen. If you're not familiar, I did have a baby about 4 months ago and she is my third. So I've got 3 kids here at home that I am taking care of full time. So I definitely don't have the time that I used to. Since I am not really able to make videos super often, I was really hoping to try to do what sold videos again, but that just doesn't seem like it's going to work out time-wise. So what I'm doing in this video is just doing a recap of the whole first quarter. So the first quarter includes the first 3 months, January, February, and March of 2024. And I'm going to give you like a recap of how my sales have gone, and just kind of talk about what I'm doing with my business right now and how I'm handling different things. If you are new here, I am an online reseller. If you're not familiar with what reselling is just when you find items or take items from your own home, secondhand items, and you sell them to other people via the internet. I sell on several different platforms. I don't even know how many it is right now, but I sell on like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Kidizen, whatnot. There's like Facebook. I'm going to kind of get into some of that stuff. Etsy, I sell on Etsy too, but I'm going to talk more about the different platforms at the end of the video. But basically I sell across several different platforms. And that's been my business model ever since I started. This is my 5th year reselling, and I sell a little bit of everything, mostly clothing, but I do sell some hard goods as well. So let's do a recap of the last 3 months. So I actually felt like we started off the year pretty well. In January, I felt like things were going pretty well. And then they started to get worse and worse. I think March was the worst month, which it sounds like that was a pretty rough month for many people. But I ended up making 75 sales in those 3 months. So not even one a day, not great. And I'll talk about those a little bit more. So let's break this down by platform. My highest performing platform was Whatnot. I put that in air quotes because on Whatnot, I was just doing some live sales and the items sold, but I'm not getting a lot of money for them. And I didn't have to list them or anything like that. So it's different than the other platforms that I sell on. But 30 of my 75 sales were on Whatnot. So I feel like that it can skew things a little bit. But I mean, that's what Whatnot's for. It's to make high volume sales, typically not necessarily to get top dollar, especially when you're doing clothing. My next top performing platform was eBay. I had 21 sales on eBay, and typically eBay and Poshmark are my top 2 platforms, and they kind of like take turns being the top dog, but eBay was the one that came out overall in the last 3 months. That was followed up by Poshmark with 12 sales. I'm sorry, my cat is bumping the tripod. Here's the face of the culprit. You can tell she really cares. After Poshmark, we have Mercari. Mercari had only 5 sales, which is still pretty typical for me on Mercari. I don't get a ton of sales over there. I made 3 sales on Kidizen, and I made 2 sales each on Etsy and Facebook Marketplace. With all of those sales combined, I had a net profit of $761.23. That is taking out all the fees that I have to pay. It's taking out the shipping. It takes out everything except for taxes. I only do my taxes once a year. I draw them out when tax time comes around. So it doesn't include that. But other than that, $761.23. So how do I feel about that number? I don't think it's horrible. Once again, we have to remember I am basically a hobby seller at this point. I don't even think I can really call it part-time, though I treat it more like part-time as best I can. But I mean, like I said, I'm taking care of 3 kids here at home, with one only being 4 months old. And it's not like I have a lot of extra time to work on it. So along with keeping my house from being a complete wreck. So I am more at that like hobby seller stage. So I don't think that money is bad. Most of my money goes towards buying things for myself, buying gifts for people, buying clothing and stuff for my kids. That's mostly where my money goes. I'm not the main earner in my household. So I think bringing in $760, I'm not too sad about that. So let's talk a little bit about the business model that kind of got me there. So the way I've been doing it since the beginning of the year pretty much is on eBay, I was relisting 10 items every day. That's just doing the sold similar. So ending my listing before it ends on its own and selling similar so it makes it look like a new listing. I was doing 10 of those every day. I do not have a store subscription on eBay. I have videos about that you can check out. But so far, I'm still not buying a store subscription. I'm cheap. I don't want to pay the money. I'm not sure I would get much greater results from having a store. So for now, I still don't have a store, which means I get 250 listings per month that are free to me. So I was doing 10 listings a day on there. And then I was doing like trying to list one new item across all my platforms every day. That model has changed a little bit going forward, so let's kind of talk about how I'm changing that. So I'm still doing my 10 listings on eBay, kind of, except I'm actually lowering the number a little bit. So when you think about it, I get 250 listings. If I was doing 10 a day, which is just kind of a number I randomly picked, just seemed like a nice number to go with. When I do 10 listings a day, that would cover, in theory, 25 days. Well, there's no month that only has 25 days. So I was having close to a week at the end of every month where I wasn't listing anything. I was not active on eBay other than sending and accepting offers. So I feel like that's not great. So I actually did the math. I did like 250 divided by 30 or 31. I forget what I did exactly. Basically, it came out to around like 8. So I'll do 8 listings. I'm doing that going forward, doing 8 listings. Or 8 end listings and then sell similar, just so I can try to stay a little bit more consistent on the platform. I think consistency is more important than quantity. The other thing that I'm doing is over on Poshmark. I am notorious for having not relisted basically anything over there. I don't relist, even though they make it really easy now. So I have started relisting now. I started relisting 5 items a day initially, but now I have dropped that down to 2, and I will kind of talk about that a little bit later. But right now I am doing 2 relists on Poshmark. So that means I'm going to my listing. I'm actually sorting them by just in and scrolling all the way to the end so I can see the lowest one. I think I have somewhere between like 275 and 280 listings right now. So I'm doing 2 of them where I just go to the bottom and do copy listing, fix the title. That way it doesn't say copy of. If you're not familiar with that, make sure you do that. And then if I'm lowering the price over there, I will also like check across my other platforms and make sure I lower the prices there as well. I do something similar on eBay, but I'm not as consistent with changing the prices on all my platforms. And then finally, I am still listing 1 new item every day. So in reality, I'm listing like 3 new items basically on Poshmark, and I'm actually relisting 7 on eBay, and then my new listing is my 8th one. So I'm doing 8 on eBay and then 3 on Poshmark, and then all my other platforms just get 1 new listing every day. Now those numbers is just what seems to be able to be worked with the best for my lifestyle right now. Honestly, I'm still struggling to even get that. I'm getting it, but I'm also not getting as much sleep. It doesn't seem like it would take that long, but it can take a little bit longer, especially when you don't use a cross-listing service, which is something I still don't do. I kind of talked about it in the past, but for me, I mean, one thing, I don't want to pay the cost. And I know at some point, like I really should put some money into my business to get better results. I'm just still so skeptical that it will like heed better results. But I'm also just like super anal, and I think I would feel the need to go through and check every listing anyway. and fill in anything that might be incorrect or anything like that. So because I have kind of played around with some before, done like a free trial, and it just didn't fill things in and do it the way I like it. That's my type A showing, but that's why I still don't do a cross-listing service and I just do it all myself. So let's go over some of the new things that have kind of happened over the last 3 months, but definitely more in March. March is when most of my changes have happened. So the first one is that I basically quit Facebook Marketplace. I will still like renew my listings that are already on there, but I am not putting any new listings on there. And it's not because things weren't selling. Like sometimes I do get sales over there. It's not my highest performing platform, but I do get sales over there. The reason that I'm stopping is because Facebook is dumb, okay? Facebook, I think it's just run by robots, and they keep flagging things for no reason, saying that it goes against their posting guidelines when I'm like, it's a dress. Like it's not even like it's a modest dress. There's nothing like, there's no reason that it should be getting flagged, but it is. And they basically have threatened to take away my reselling or my marketplace account. And that would mean I wouldn't be able to buy or sell. And I use marketplace a lot to buy things personally, and like for my family, for my kids. So for me, it's just, it wasn't performing high enough to risk losing marketplace altogether for all the other reasons I use it. So I will not be adding any new items over there, and I'm just going to let the other ones kind of fizzle out. Another change that has happened is that Poshmark, I no longer have an automatic sharer. I was using Flip, which was a free sharer, and now they have changed it that you have to spend, it's like $10 a month on it. I have heard mixed reviews on it. I've also heard people say before that they don't think sharing on Poshmark really like helps. Like it doesn't really do much. I don't know if it does or not. I'm kind of testing out that theory, but there's so many other factors that go into your sales on Poshmark. So it's hard to say if it's the sharing factor that is changing that. So I think my sharer basically shut off on March 6th. So I haven't had, I've only had like a little bit over a month since I haven't had an automatic sharer. I still do share a couple times on my own, not consistently, but I still try to do my best to share a few times a day if I can. There's probably some days where I'm not sharing at all, but just to, I guess, work with Poshmark in the way they say their algorithm works. And it's hard for me too, because I know when I shop on Poshmark, if I'm searching for something, I want the best deal. So I type in what I'm looking for, and then I sort by lowest price. So I don't know if everybody's doing that. Let me know in the comments if you shop on Poshmark, how do you filter your results? Like, do you sort them by like just in or lowest price, or what's the case? Because that's what Poshmark is saying basically, is they sort it automatically by just in, which I know they do. I just don't think like the average person is going to look at the things that are just in unless you're constantly checking to see if there's new things added. But for me, I would always sort by lowest price when I'm trying to buy something, not by things that were just in anyway. So I feel like the sharing doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Now, amidst all of the chaos, I have actually added 2-ish platforms. And I say ish because one of them is Whatnot. I'm already on Whatnot. I've done several live shows, but I'm not going to be doing my live shows anymore, probably for a while. I think the biggest thing with Whatnot is consistency. If you want people to like follow you on Whatnot and come to your shows, you need to be consistent. I know some people, they're like, I just hop on for 30 minutes a day, every day, and it builds followers. I can't even do 30 minutes a day. I can't even do 30 minutes a week a lot of times because I don't have the time or the space or the childcare to be able to do that. And I don't want a show where my kids are running around all the time. I know some people are like that. Honestly, I don't love those shows, so I don't want to be that show either. So it's just not something I can do at this stage of my life, is being consistent on live shows. I do really love the community aspect, so I still watch a fair amount of shows like throughout the day, just have them on my phone, because I do like talking and chatting with people and just seeing what other people have. but I'm not going to be holding live shows. What I'm doing instead is listing my items in my regular shop, marketplace, whatever you want to call it, on Whatnot. So anybody can just search for products and they can buy it there. I haven't made any sales that way yet. I don't know if it's really going to be that successful because I don't know if that many people shop Whatnot in that manner, but it doesn't take that long to list things there. So I'm just going to give it a shot and see what happens. The other platform that I added is, it's an app that's called District. I don't know like the history behind it or a whole lot about it, but within District, there are different marketplaces. And one of them is called Knickknacks. This was started by Jocelyn, who, if you are familiar, is the crazy lamp lady on like YouTube and Whatnot and Facebook and everywhere. She actually lives in my area. I've never met her. That would be super cool. But I've never met her or anything. But she runs Knickknacks, which is a vintage marketplace on this like platform called District. So I can list my vintage items over there, which I do mostly vintage clothing in the vintage category, but I do have some hard goods as well. And I think I only have like one thing listed there right now because I have to cross list a bunch of my stuff. And I'm just haven't done a whole lot of that yet. So when they pop up through my Poshmark, like when I'm relisting them through Poshmark, that's when I'm cross listing them over to Whatnot and through District. Now, it's not just Jocelyn that has marketplaces, though. There's another one that's called Craigslist Hunter, and he is also a YouTuber reseller, a big deal, basically. And I can list my other items over there because they don't have to be vintage. You can list anything over there. So I've been listing all of my like modern clothing items and stuff like that under Craigslist Hunter on District. And haven't made any sales over there yet, but like I said, I don't have a ton of stuff. And I do feel like most of the people in Craigslist Hunter are probably looking for like, I don't know, electronics, video games, collectibles, things like that. But once again, it doesn't take that long to list them over there. So I'm just giving it a shot and we'll see how it goes. And then I think the final big change that I'm making, and it's kind of forced, I guess, is that with Mercari, if you're not familiar with Mercari's whole new rollout where they took away selling fees and it's a whole thing. But basically, I can lower my prices over there now because I don't have any selling fees. And I am trying that out. Once again, I'm lowering them as I relist stuff through Poshmark. So I'm not doing the whole, like, I think you can click a button and it'll lower everything by 10%. I didn't do that, but I am just kind of like updating some of my listings on there as we go. And we'll see what happens over there. I still haven't gotten like a ton of sales or anything because it's still competitive. And actually, I did forget one other platform I decided to try. I am trying out the platform called Vinted. And I'm not sure how popular Vinted is. There aren't a ton of people on there from what I can tell. It sounds like it's more of a big deal in Europe, I think is where it maybe originated. Yeah, I think the UK or something. So it is another platform that I think it's not meant for pro sellers. Now, I don't know if I'm considered a pro seller. I don't really know like what that means. They don't really specify from what I can tell. But there are no selling fees over there either, which is great. So the downside though is like, because you can't be like a pro seller, a lot of my pictures, like I've had one of my listings already taken down over there. I guess because my pictures were like too good. I'm using air quotes a lot today. I don't know why. But I always use photo room. So I take the background out and it's just a nice white background. And I guess they were like, well, we can't tell if it's a copyrighted image or not, which I think is a little bit silly. But I'm just changing up the way I take my photos a little bit. So going forward, I'm able to put stuff there. And I'm also going to try to sell like my kids' clothes and things like that on there. It's very similar to Facebook Marketplace, except there is shipping, but you don't have selling fees. There's like a small buyer protection fee that the buyer has to pay. But yeah, we're going to try that out too. Try to get rid of maybe some like older inventory over there because I can sell it for so much less. Same way as Mercari. So we'll see how that all pans out. I haven't sold anything there yet either, but I just started these newer platforms like a week or so ago. So it hasn't been that long. Now that we're in quarter 2, this is the time when yard sales usually pick up, and I love to source at yard sales, but I am telling you, I have so much stuff. So my focus right now is just getting through like all of these kids' clothes I have, and I still have a whole bunch of stuff next to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 totes. I feel like that's more than I had before. I don't know. They're multiplying. But it's about 7 totes of unlisted inventory. I'm going to try to be going through some of this stuff. We're actually even having a yard sale, like a personal yard sale, where I might take some of my old inventory that hasn't sold. And a lot of those items are like personal items that just weren't like that great. And I thought I'd try to get a couple bucks out of them, but they've been sitting around a while, blah, 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 whatever. So I am not intentionally sourcing. We all know how that goes as a reseller, but I have picked up some things here and there. If I'm already buying something for my kids, I'm really trying to avoid the thrift store because I have no self-control. But you know, I'm doing my best, as best I can. And I'm hoping that these second quarter sales will be better. Hopefully people get their tax returns and start spending a little bit more money, especially with the season changing, which means definitely get those summer items listed if you have them. I just am listing everything. I'm not even paying attention to season, though I probably should. My one final thought for this video is that the other thing that I have added sort of is I have made a Facebook page called TheCozyShire. So I would really love it if you'd go over there, follow me there, like that page. I had the intention of doing live sales over there, but kind of the same thing with Whatnot. I was like, I think it's just going to be kind of a waste of my time right now. But I am still updating things over there. I'm kind of doing that in association. Is that the right word? Whatever. I'm doing it along with Instagram. So when I make Instagram reels, I'm posting them over there as well. I'm kind of giving like a heads up, like, hey, these are the things I'm going to be listing this week, or, you know, whatever, things like that. And basically people on Facebook get first dibs on any of my items that they see that are going to be posted. I am just like living in kids land right now with all the kids clothes. That's just what I have out. But I'll be moving into my other categories in the future. But I would love for you to go check out my Facebook. And I'm hoping to kind of keep that updated. And I mean, hopefully in the future, if I can ever control myself enough to get through these death piles, that I can, do some more fun things over there. Sometimes I do polls or different things like that. So go over there, please, and check it out. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. That was my recap. That's kind of what's been going on in the last 3 months, what I plan to do going forward. You can find me on various selling platforms. The easiest way to find them is just to go to my Instagram, which is TheCozyShire. And if you go into my bio, you can find my link tree, which has links to all of my different platforms. You can find them here on YouTube as well, but I don't think I was able to list all of them because they do give you a limit, and I sell at a lot of places. So you can check it out there. You can check me out on Facebook. Everywhere I'm going to be TheCozyShire, so you can find me very easily. But please let me know how your first quarter went if you are a reseller, and any business plans that you plan to implement, or business ideas you plan to implement. Let me know. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.